This week, I'm catching up on my adventures throughout Western New York, and thank goodness for keeping notes because sometimes it's good just to be busy. And we're placing our first pin into our ice cream trail as we sit down with Randy Fenton from Main Street Ice Cream in Hamburg as we cover their history from commercial landlord to cookies and cream and lemon ice. Episode 6 of the Buffalo Brews podcast starts now. Welcome, everyone. It's Brews Day Tuesday, and you know what that means. I'm Jason Ettinger, your host. Not only your host, but your producer, editor, key grip, caterer, etc., etc., etc. We're here for a new week of the Buffalo Brews podcast. Thanks for joining us this week, just like you do each and every week. And I don't want to waste any time because we have a lot on the docket here, including a great interview that's coming up in a few moments. But I am recording this opening on Sunday, and I'm enjoying a Basil Hayden's Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. It's an 80 proof that is made in Claremont, Kentucky. The mash bill consists of a 63% corn with a 27% rye, which is a little higher rye content than most bourbons, and a 10% malted barley. Now, on the initial taste, I pick up it's a very light body, but it is definitely rye heavy. Rye in a bourbon is not a distinct flavor unless you're specifically dealing with a rye whiskey, but because this has a 63% corn content, which is a higher, actually it's a typical corn content that most bourbons have, you get a little bit of that sweetness on the front side. This one has a more of a buttery texture to it, and the color on it is a golden brown as opposed to other bourbons that have a darker color note to it. The aroma, definitely a charred oak that I pick up when I smell that for the first time. And then when I'm tasting it, I also pick up those typical vanilla and caramel notes that you get with your Kentucky bourbons. So, that flavor is going to give you that charred oak as well. You're going to get the brown sugar combined with that corn sweetness. And then you get a little hint of what I'm picking up might be like a black pepper that's included in that. And I quite enjoyed this. I was looking on the website, and it shows that it is a 2020 World Spirits Competition winner out of San Francisco, as well as got a score of 95 at the 2020 New York International Spirits Competition and was a gold winner. So this one is also a winner with me. Now, the Basil Hayden's is originally crafted in 1992 by Booker Noe, and Booker Noe was known for being a true innovator and one who sought to welcome new people into the whiskey world. So the style is inspired by a 1972 whiskey pioneer, Meredith Basil Hayden Sr., who was a rye farmer from Maryland who moved to Kentucky to start distilling. Not a lot of background on this particular distillery, but you've got 2 awards from 2020 and a definite winner in my book. So over the past few weeks, I've definitely been getting the hiking miles in, taking advantage of the decent weather. It's been still wet because we're in the springtime, so some hikes are better than others, and some of the hikes we've done in rainy weather and some in colder, drizzly weather, but we're getting in the miles so that we can eat the Timbits and enjoy the beers in the parking lot. Some of the catching up of my adventures go back to several weeks ago when I ventured out to Bennington on a Saturday to take in the Finger Lakes trails, and about 7 miles that I did that particular day. And I've noted to a few people that the 4th mile I considered to be a nightmare. It was a very sloggy trudge that went downhill for almost a mile, but it went between it literally went through the middle of it can only be described like a ravine, but it didn't have a water flow, but there was enough water that collected in there. It's like wading through ankle deep muck for about a mile. So it was kind of a nightmarish portion to that hike that I wasn't particularly fond of. And to try to stay on point with getting the miles logged correctly for the Finger Lakes 50 challenge, what I ended up doing was taking a unblazed route that was on the map. That unblazed route took me on a lot of roadways, but still counts toward the miles, and then I finished up the rest of the hike in the woods. So we completed that on that particular Saturday, and then the following day, that morning, I met up with a group of fine, funny, entertaining folks that are now part of my Chemawi tribe who we decided in the rain to go through Hunters Creek Park in East Aurora. That was another 5-mile jaunt that took us across Hunters Creek twice, up a very steep gas line road, and all through the park. We just had a fantastic time talking, laughing, and of course, hiking those miles in as part of the challenge. And then afterwards, spent an hour and a half in the parking lot drinking beer and reminiscing about the time that we just had. So I look forward to more adventures with the Chemawi tribe. We talk in a group chat almost daily, talking about whatever subject comes up. Fast forward to Reinstein Nature Preserve, and about 3 miles through the park there. That's a relatively flat park out in Cheektowaga, and takes you down by the water and the old residence that they had down there. Some of the oldest trees that are in that particular woods. There was a huge fell that was there, and one of the members of the Nature Conservancy was there and actually gave permission to cross the barrier to just go around the tree. So I thought that was really cool, and be able to take some pictures of that. Then the following day, going to Tift Nature Preserve in South Buffalo. That's along the Buffalo waterfront. I would always encourage anybody that if they wanted to take in one hike during the year, it's go down, grab a map, and walk around the Tift Nature Preserve, because you get everything there. You get brush, you get trees, you get tons of water, lots of birds, and once you get over the hill and back into the wooded area, you don't even know that you're that close to Route 5 and the waterfront. The temperature changes, the atmosphere changes. It's just a wonderful time to walk through there. So then you fast forward to another week. That will be this past weekend here, and Buckhorn State Park, that's up in the north part of Grand Island. Took in a sunrise hike with my sister and her friend, and we did about 5 miles there out to the peninsula and back, and that was a very fun hike. Again, very flat, but just to be able to hike and talk with people and take in nature around you. You see deer, you see different birds. Once you get out to the peninsula, there's a few islands that are out there where you see the seagulls and the terns that are out there. And then today, taking in a total of 7 miles between College Lodge and Brockton, which is a joint college and state conservation property, and then the Earl Carget Overland Trail in Cassadaga. Now, let's talk about that trail for a quick moment before we move on here. It's always exhilarating to take in a new trail, to be able to see what kind of terrain there is, to be able to see how the scenery changes, what wildlife you may see as you're hiking. But with the Earl Carget Overland Trail, you spend the first 3/4 of a mile going up and up and up and up and up and up and up. Before you realize it, you've already climbed 600 feet, and your legs and your booty have definitely got quite the workout. We went all the way back to the lean-to, back to a pond area, and that was a very enjoyable hike. Growing up, one of the overland trails in Chautauqua County ran in the forest across from my parents' old property, and we used to, as kids, myself and my friends, Eric and DJ, we used to constantly hike and camp in those woods at the lean-tos, and going to these lean-tos on this trail reminded me much of that, minus the pond that was there. So, it was nice to be able to stand there and just kind of take in a little bit of my childhood. So what's coming up next is this coming weekend is Golden Hill State Park. That's up along Lake Ontario. Be doing that this weekend, as well as taking in the Olcott merchant village that's up there that I mentioned a few weeks ago here on the podcast. Going to also be stopping by Blackbird Cidery to fill up the old growlers. And on the way back through, we'll be stopping at Rustic Buffalo on Shawnee Road in North Tonawanda for their grand opening. It's a store that's a lot like the Totally Buffalo store, and this is in a renovated barn setting. So I've been talking with John there, and I'm very much looking forward to checking out that. And then in a few weeks, I'll be heading out to Zoar Valley to take in a few hikes out there. That'll be my first ever visit to Zoar Valley. So my sister and I will be doing that over the Mother's Day weekend, and very much looking forward to that. So sorry if it seemed like I was grabbing a lot of my thoughts there, but I was kind of putting a list together in my head of all the things that I've been doing, and I know that was all hiking related, and trust more that I've been doing in recent weeks. You know, there's visits that I made to Platters in North Tonawanda, the Cereal Spot on Hurdle Avenue in Buffalo. So I'll be talking about those places in the future. For years, the quaint little community in Hamburg, New York has always been an attraction for entertainment, food, and good drink. And this year is no exception as we're slowly coming out of the COVID protocols. I would encourage you, as the weather starts warming up and we have the 60s now coming up this week and next week, to take an opportunity to plan either a family night or a date night and head down to Hamburg. Anytime that you've been along that Buffalo Street, Main Street corridor, you realize that there's so much to offer there, whether it's entertainment from the Hamburg Palace Theater, if you're going to Carte Blanche or Master's Barbecue, you might be heading for something to drink over at Alchemy and grabbing a nice wine there. Heading up to the Circle, you could go through and see Sweet Pea Bakery, Juicy Burger Bar, Comfort Zone Cafe. You can catch a coffee at Spot. There's Rain Community Kitchen there, Coyote Cafe, and Grill 52, Butera's. I could go on, but with every great night, you should end it with dessert. And if you're going to end it with dessert, you need to end up at Main Street Ice Cream, located right across from Butera's, right there on North Main Street. And I'm going to introduce you to this interview I did with Randy Fenton, who is one of the owners, along with his wife Denise. I have been going to Main Street Ice Cream over the past several years, whether it's by myself or if I took my son before he had left for the Army. We always enjoyed it because it's a smaller shop with artesian ice cream, great people, and a great atmosphere in a fantastic location. So sit and take a listen. My interview with Randy Fenton of Main Street Ice Cream in Hamburg, New York. And you've been here since 2009.
That's when we started the ice cream business. Yeah, 2009.
The ice cream business.
We've had the building probably about 3 years before that. We bought the building.
Okay.
So we purchased the building 3 years before that. So that'd make it around 2006.
Yes, something like that. Building went up for sale. I never even walked through it. My wife walked through it with her dad. We were looking at it, and what we're sitting in now actually used to be a hair salon.
Okay. So this was a hair salon with 3 apartments. She walked the building. She's like, called me. I was at work. Called me and goes, hey, I just walked the building with my dad. I think it's a really nice building. I'm like, okay. Well, I think we should put a bid in on it. I'm like, well, go ahead, put a bid in on it. So she did. We put a bid in on it. I never got inside the building, never saw it. And our bid got turned down. We're like, well, it wasn't meant to be. You know, it's overgrown with trees on the side and everything. I'm like, it is what it is. 2 weeks later, we were out at where I grew up on a farm out Batavia. You get a call from a realtor going, hey, you still interested in that building? I'm like, sure. He goes, well, the owner doesn't like the way the other deal's going. He'd like to offer it to you guys. That's fantastic. So he offered it to us. We ended up getting the building. He stayed in the building because it was his hair salon. Okay, so he had been here for like 30 years as a hairstylist. And so he had a 2-year with a renewable 3-year lease with us. He got into his 2nd year and said, I'm giving you a year notice. I'm done. My legs are giving out. I'm ready to move south. I'm giving you a year notice. We're like, great.
So at that time, my wife Denise was a teacher's aide at Hamburg.
Okay.
We knew he was going to leave at some point. So I was like, oh, it'd be kind of cool to have our own business. It's a storefront. So we're going to look at getting our own business going. So when he gave us a year notice, we had a lot of time to decide what we want to do. So in that time, we looked at about 4 businesses. One was a Carhartt clothing store. The other one was a high-end snowmobile clothing store. The third was like an embroidery for socks for athletic teams and stuff like that, so you could put their logo on their sock or whatever.
Okay.
That was the third one. And the fourth one was ice cream. So we looked at them all very closely. Our kids were at an age where they could kind of be on their own at home and everything if they needed to be. And after a while, we're like, you know what? We love ice cream. It's a great village. Let's just go for it. And that's what we did. And that's how from 2008 to 2009, that's how we decided that let's try an ice cream business. And I like it. We did.
I like it. Yeah. Now, I'm focusing the attention over here on the wall with the milk bottles. Now, is this predating being a commercial landlord?
No. So if you go back in my wife's family background and my background, I grew up on a farm. We had a cash crop and a hog farm. Right next door to us was my great uncle dairy farm. So I grew up right next to a dairy farm and drank the raw milk all my life growing up and everything. So I had connections with the dairy. My wife's father actually had a dairy processing plant up in Niagara Falls. So he actually bought milk from farmers, pasteurized it, bottled it, and he had milk routes up in the Niagara County. So he worked out of Medina, and then he worked out in Niagara Falls. And he did that for years. So they've been kind of connected to dairy for years. We've been connected through a farm. And so my father-in-law now collects milk bottles. He has a collection of about 2,500 milk bottles. Wow. All Western New York. And he will tell you everything there is to know about any dairy in Western New York.
That's respectable.
Yeah, it is. He's very intelligent.
And you grew up drinking raw milk, so you're already immune to COVID.
Pretty much. Pretty much. That is true.
I grew up in rural Chautauqua County.
Okay.
So Shurin.
Yep.
And our next door neighbor on the each side of us, they had farmers, and had my fair share of. And I live with an autoimmune disorder, and for the life of me, I've had it for 25 years. I still don't know why I was sicker than I was. Right. And then sometimes I wonder if it wasn't swimming in the creek, drinking raw milk.
Right.
I joke with people all the time that my parents dipped me in raw sewage just to play it by me.
Yes, probably so. Probably so. Yeah, it's a great life. It was a fun life. We had fun growing up. Yeah.
And then you've delved yourself into a great community here along Main Street. You're 100 yards from the circle.
Yeah, we're right in the heart of the Main Street. So that's kind of nice. So Denise graduated from Hamburg High School, so she knew the area. I'm a transplant from Batavia. So she knew the area, knew the village pretty well. And we were here for almost 10 years before we bought the building itself. So we knew the village pretty well. So we thought, well, we can make this go.
It's got everything to offer. I mean, you look at, you can take in the perfect family night or the perfect date night in Hamburg. Literally walking up and down the street, you park in one spot, you could eat your way from one end, dinner to dessert.
Right.
Then you've got the shops.
Yeah. They'd done a nice job when they came in here, redid all the infrastructure in 2008, which is right the year before we opened. They put in all the circles, the new sidewalks, new roads, everything. What a difference it made. I mean, I used to avoid coming through the village. I'd go around it because in stoplights. Now I will go through the village any day instead of taking side streets because of the circles. It's just much more efficient.
Yeah.
Much more efficient.
Before they put the circles in, I used to come down to the community center now in Prospect.
Yeah.
We used to run events down there biannually, and the stoplights were just sit, wait, sit back. And if you're lucky, half the time when people wouldn't even stop.
Yeah, it was not the greatest for getting through here, but now it's nice now though. Oh, what a difference! What a difference!
Beautiful. You come down the 219. You're coming off of over by Boston State Road. You got the farms out there. You got the Hamburg Brewery as you're coming into town.
Yep.
You know, you drive up the hill. You know, you make sure you drive the speed limit because there's always the cop sitting there. There's never a time I haven't driven down there and that cop wasn't sitting there. He was there tonight too.
Yep. Yeah, it's got a lot to offer. A lot of food, a lot of good, and they're all good places to eat. It's not like, oh, I'll never go to that place. They're just good places to eat.
You got good owners now.
Yeah, we do. So it is pretty bad.
I was just before I walked in, the store next door here.
Oh, Kate and Molly's.
Yeah, they were just leaving.
Yeah.
And I'm saying hi to them up there.
Yeah, so that came about, a little story there. So 2017, I think it was. So we had 3 apartments in the building here, and they were getting old. This was an old building built in the 1800s. I mean, old enough that when we tore walls apart, there were newspapers that they used to use for insulation.
Yep.
Half of it was in German, half of it was in English. So that was in the walls here. So we're going back into the 1880s, give or take.
Okay.
So we tore the 2/3 back of our building down because it was just to a point where you're going to spend a whole lot of money to fix up stuff, and it's still an old building. So we wanted to keep the look of the front. So we kept the facade, kept our main parlor area, but from our prep room back, we took the building down and built new and expanded, created a retail space for Molly and Kate's, and they've been very successful. They were a first tenant in our retail area, and they said they're never going to leave. And it is a very good location in the village for them to have or shop. You know, they do a very nice business, very smart girls, and then again, they bring in a lot of people to the village because of their shop.
I want to say 2017. Were they here that summer?
Yeah, they had to buy. They had, yeah. I lived late summer.
Yeah. Because my first time I ever watched this entire length was, I think it was the Burger Fest 2017. There's probably the first time I ever went the disc case down the street. And I remember because this was all carved out with all of the different places that are.
Yeah, Burger Fest was a big deal. Again, canceled this year, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That brings in a lot of people, and that's a fun day. That's a busy day. So yeah, well, that's kind of where we got our start.
All right.
Where we got it.
And then, so now have you always been artesian?
No. So we started out year number 1 with Harry's out of Akron. And we had a little family connection there to Perry's because my great-grandfather actually worked at Perry's and went on fishing trips up in Canada, up in South River, Canada, with Morton Perry, the original owner of Perry's Ice Cream. So that was kind of cool. So there's a very close connection there. And, my family, we still go up there, and we're 5th generation going to the same cabins, fishing on the same lakes and everything else that my great-grandfather did and Morton Perry. So we had Perry's for year number 1. And then for whatever reasons, Perry's decided that there was too much competition down here between Perry's Ice Cream at our place and a competing place. And they said they were going to pull their product, not sell to us. And we said, probably don't want to do that. But they disagreed and said, no, we have to do that. I said, okay, go ahead. You can pull your product. So then we switched over to Turkey Hill. And we did a Turkey Hill for years. We had Turkey Hill in here. Great product, great customer service. After we switched over, about 3 months later, Perry's came back and wanted our business back and offered it back to us. And I said, we're good. We're all set.
Yeah.
And we stuck with Turkey Hill. And that was from 2010 up until about 4 years ago. Again, right around the 2017 time. Okay. When we tore the building down and redid it. And then at that point, there's a lot of ice cream places around here. And you really got, we wanted to go the extra step. We wanted to be unique. So in order to be unique, you really got to start making your own ice cream. So that's what we did. We took a trip down to Florida We're kind of big on American-made stuff. Well, there's a factory down there that manufactures an ice cream maker in Florida. So we took a trip down there. We got a tour of the factory. We saw how these machines were made from a chunk of stainless steel to, a very good top-of-line ice cream maker. We ordered the machine while we were there, and about 3-4 weeks later, it got delivered to our place here. And that's what we've been doing ever since, making ice cream. So we started out just making like 3 or 4 different kinds. We wanted to make sure we knew what we were doing. And there is a little art to the get used to it and flavoring things and everything else. So we started out, like I said, with 3 or 4 different kinds. And we just started adding. And now we're up to, I believe, 22 offerings of our homemade ice cream at all times. So it stepped up pretty good.
And then, and so on top of your normal offerings, then you usually, so you have your list on the website of your monthly flavors. And I noticed like you have it out all year long. What's coming?
Yeah. So we put out, my wife does a lot of between my wife and our daughter, they do all the marketing for social media. So, they'll come up with a list of flavors of the month. We used to do flavors of the week, but they turned over too fast and people didn't get a chance to get in here because some would come up on their ice cream night. They didn't get a chance to come in here. So instead of doing one flavor of the week, we decided we're going to do 4 flavors for the month. So now people have a chance to get in here and they can try all the flavors with over a month. And if they really like something, they know they got a month of that flavor being around. So we make that list up in the middle of the wintertime. We'll make that list up like, hey, what do we want to try? Because we may have to go out and obtain some kind of flavorings and special flavorings that we need to make those, understand? And make sure that's available. And then we put the list together and we'll do the flavors of the month starting in March. And that list will be made all the way through when we close on Christmas Eve. So it's posted, it's out there. And then you always find something extra that we'll add in there, that, oh, we should try this. And we're gonna. So we have one that'll be coming out. It's already made. I think it'll be coming out probably over the weekend. And it's a new one. We've never had it, but we made it. And I think it's going to be good. And the name of it's You Drive Me Nuts. And that's the name of the ice cream. So we're thinking that'll be kind of a cool thing. But yeah, so we're constantly thinking through, trying to come up with new stuff all the time. And because we have the machine and the know-how, that's where we can make ourselves a little bit different than somebody else.
I like that you were able to jump in with the machinery to get into your ice cream making process. I've seen in the past in different cities and different locations, some small scale operations, and you can have the machiner. It's as crude as almost like they have the paddle on the drill, making ice cream. And I'm like, wow,
Yeah, you really, if you really want to get the quality, you have to buy a quality machine to make it, and it does make a difference. So, yeah, and we can make, our batches are small. Our batches are 5-gallon batches. That's the most I can put through the machine at one time is 5 gallons. So I'm either making a 2.5-gallon half batch of something very unique, such as our wine ice cream. And we'll bring that out on special occasions. So like Mother's Day, we'll have a wine ice cream in here that you'll have to be proofed when you come get it. But we'll do a wine ice cream, stuff like that. So we can do very unique.
So a sidebar question, because I have it listed down here toward the bottom. So a friend of mine brought up the wine ice cream, said, oh yeah, they have wine ice cream there. You men definitely need to ask about it because they don't have it all the time. Is that a collab with any specific winery, or do you have a winery that you navigate to?
It really doesn't. It really doesn't. It's more the type of wine and the robustness of the wine and what the wine's made of, or what kind of taste they try to bring out in the wine. We try to accent that taste a little bit, because of the milk base can overpower the taste of the wine.
Sure.
So we have to be very careful on how we flavor that to get that flavor to come out. So no, we don't stick with one brand or one variety or anything else. I mean, our next wine that we do make comes from the new winery right across in the Hamburg Brewery down here, Palisado. Yes, right. Is that like that?
Halicano?
Halicano. So I've already bought this wine for that, and I'm just waiting because we'll have it ready for Mother's Day. So we'll have some pints of wine in here for that.
Now they're hearing it first.
You are hearing on our stat.
Out on wine.
Yeah, and they don't even know we did it. We just went in, bought a bottle, and you know they'll get some advertisement out of it because we definitely will. We try and push our local stuff as best as possible.
An ice cream that you can get carded for. I like it.
That's right. Come with your ID. You're gonna need it. Yep.
Okay, so then on top of everything else, have been an avid Instagram stalker, not in, no secret. And what brought me in here was what I thought was a legit joke, but was not, based on your daughter's reply to my comment on Instagram about the smoky bacon ice cream. And that is something specific that you did for April Fool's Day as a fundraiser.
Correct.
And how many years have you been doing your fundraising?
Oh,
For April Fool's Day. Right here.
as long as I can remember. I think we did it when we opened.
Okay.
And we have a soft serve machines here, obviously, so we do custard. And so while we started out, we would flavor some of our custard with something weird, and we've done a lot of things. Spaghetti and meatballs. We've done a dill pickle ice cream. We did the bacon ice cream. I've done what we called hot ice cream. And what that was is the hot pepper extract put in the ice cream, which was really cool. That was a soft serve. What was kind of cool about that, we didn't even offer it to kids, only adults. And we kind of warned them, like, you're okay, right? You don't mind trying? No. Well, your taste buds will pick up the sweetness first. So you taste vanilla ice cream. Within about 5 seconds, you see the faces of the people changing very quickly because the hotness of the pepper, which was just an extract, not a taste, that reached their taste buds, and then they knew. So that was our hot ice cream we had one of the years. So yeah, we've always come up with something a little different for April Fool's. So this year was smoky bacon.
I like that. And then today, when we're talking, it's Earth Day, so you got the dirt Sunday, and
Got the Dirt and Worm Sunday going. So yeah, that's a big one, the big seller. So we usually do a premium Sunday of the week. So every week we'll have something kind of special, and if we can follow something that's going on in the community or like the Earth Day thing, that's what we try and follow. So Denise and our daughter really keep up on that type of stuff.
you guys are always creating new things that are fun. And the more stories I hear about, I went down there and I had this, then I always said, "Why? I didn't know they had that." No, you did, because it was something special that you put together.
Right. And
It's okay.
our local school, Hamburg here, they were doing a fundraiser with donuts yesterday. And they have always asked us, hey, can we sell donuts there? Can we do something there? Can you buy some donuts? So we bought dozens of donuts from them, and we did a donut ice cream sandwich yesterday. So we helped their fundraiser out. We sold a bunch of donuts ice cream sandwich. People need to read because they came here looking for them today. That was a one-day deal. That was just one-day deal. It's Russ Donuts, and it was a fundraiser for the school. So
One of the most popular sayings coming in the door, I'll bet.
it was. There was. Absolutely. Yep.
So, vegan and lactose-free options do you have?
All the time. So our vegan is usually we had a sorbet here. We usually have a lemon ice here, and then we're either running oat milk or almond milk, anadole, pineapple. So actually, there's 4 or 5 options here most all the time. I mean, we might get low on something, be out of something once in a while, but for the most part, you're going to have probably around 4 options of a vegan or dairy-free ice cream.
Yeah, oat milk seems to be the new thing. And
Yes, and it's good. It actually has a good consistency to it, closest to ice cream that I've had that's ever come through here. Although almond milk's very good too, but you have a nut allergy. You got to be careful with the almond milk. So the oat milk really covers a big gamut of people.
Let's see. And then I also read now through the county that you folks are big animal supporters and big veteran supporters as well.
We are. We're animal lovers, so obviously, we love our animals, love the dogs and everything else. We'd had a dairy calf here, I don't know, 2 years ago before COVID. So it had been 2 years ago. Somebody came in here just wanted to bring a calf in here. We're like, that would be awesome. Set it up. We're like a little petting zoo for kids, so they understood where milk came from and everything. So very educational. my father-in-law's a veteran, so we got a soft spot for the veterans and the commitment that they made. So we're able to do what we can do in this country. So that's always been a soft spot for us, for both of us, as our veteran. Very proud of everything they've done, and again, we appreciate that. So yeah, so animals, big time, veterans, and then we support the local baseball teams, and we're always trying to do fundraiser for the schools, teams, and things like that. And we've done things over the past where we have a scoop night here. So we actually will, if a team wants to come in, they can set up on our deck out here with Chinese auction stuff, 50/50 raffles. They can come in here and we will do a quick training with them, and they actually scoop for their scoop night. So they hand out flyers to all their friends and everything. And if their friends, parents, doesn't matter who it is, comes in with that flyer, these young kids are on the team. We're having them scoop the ice cream, but they get 10% of the proceeds of everything that comes through the door that day, and they get all the tips. So I mean, there's been teams that walk away out of here with over $800 in their pocket for one evening. That's pretty easy fundraiser when they really didn't have to do anything except show up.
We talked we made a couple of mentions about things that happened with COVID in 2020, and you have one of the advantages of having a window, an out-facing window, and you're like you said, you used to be a hair salon, so it's a smaller facility. Like I see
18.
Yeah,
He said.
yep, that's it. And with everything that happened in the beginning, like how were you able to proceed once? So at the direct case.
So when COVID hit, that was a big deal. We've had a window for years in our building. Even in our whole building, we had a walk-up window. Most people didn't even know it was there. They were so used to just coming inside the building and everything. So once COVID hit, obviously we had to close down our dining room. We were able to stay open through the regulations. We were one of the businesses that they said, yes, you can stay open. So we stayed open. Immediately, we had to put stuff on the sidewalk for social distancing. People had to wear masks, and we did everything out of the window or curbside delivery. That's how we started it. And, it took some adjustment for everybody, for our customers and for us to understand, like, okay, we had to order, they had to stay at the window, they couldn't come inside. But it was amazing because we'd have customers here for 5, 6, 7 years and go, oh, what a great idea. You guys just put that window in. We're like, no, it's been here for years. Just nobody ever used it. And now, obviously, that's the main focal point is our window. So we were able to work with the COVID restrictions and still do business. It's not business as normal because we actually like to talk to our customers and see them face to face without masks and everything because we know our customers. And we like that conversation. And that part has been lost. And that's what we really miss. And we hope that eventually that comes back where people are comfortable, come inside, hey, how you doing? And get back to getting to know our customers like we used to. But it's worked well. We're very fortunate. We had the walk-up window. Our patio is set up nice that we can have a long line going down the patio. There's an exit right off the patio. So we had X's, arrows, everything out there ready to go. We had curbside delivery, which was great. That took off. And later on in the year, we took up DoorDash. And so we got DoorDash now too. So we got three different ways. And now the dining room's part way open too.
So, yeah, I was gonna transition into the DoorDash question because I even saw on your Instagram story with the snow flying sideways in your little video clip. It's like it's a good night to DoorDash.
Yeah, it's a good night to DoorDash. So we were a little skeptical about it. Our daughter is very computer savvy, and of course with the times when it comes to that stuff, and she's the one that really Sarah set us all up for DoorDash and got us all ready to go, and really it's a great system that DoorDash offers, and it's a nice convenience for our customers that don't want to go out or can't get out for some reason. So it works well.
Good. And see, so the one of the last things I really wanted to hit on also is, what is your favorite flavor to make here?
Yeah, it's kind of a trick question because, of course, the easiest flavor to make would be vanilla. That's an easy one to make. So when I make vanilla, that's like, oh, that's an easy one. I'm going to fly through this one. You know, our most popular one is going to be peanut butter paradise, okay, or brownie mudslide. Those are the two are just staple type ice creams. We've got to never run out of them because those are the two that sell all the time.
Whoever was the first time I ever came here, anytime I go someplace like this, the first question I ask is, what's your most popular? And I was told the brownie mudslide.
Yeah, it is. Between that and peanut butter paradise, so those are two most popular by far. We do have a Cookie Monster. So if you want to throw the kids into the mix, then Cookie Monster is right there. So, you know, between those three is probably 25% of the sales. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot between those three.
Now the basis of the podcast, it has to do a lot with trails, finding her, you know, and a lot of times when we walk a trail, we haven't started point, we have a destination, but for us, a lot of the times, we always want you to forge your own path, whether it be through life, through business, right, or whatever. So we also found that over the years now, and looking at history, you know, we have the beer trail, we have a spirits trail practically, Booney and Buffalo out. We have the wing trail, we have an ice cream trail. And when you're looking at some place like the beer trail, you go places and then they always offer up a flight. And one of the coin phrases I had put together with my interview with the Western Europe Beer Trail was flights before pints, which would technically apply to ice cream as well. Now, that's true. I've already gone 30 seconds too far, but it's true. You are one of the few ice cream places that offers a flight.
We do. We offer a flight. It's a flight of 4. So you get 4 different types of ice cream, and you can do hard, soft combinations, doesn't matter, however you want it. You're going to get 4 scoops or 4 servings of ice cream in a tray, and be surprised on how popular that is because we have so many different kinds, and we have a lot of people come in here and say, you got so many different kinds, it's hard to decide, and then we'll offer a flight to them, and they're like, that's what I want. Because now I can try 4 different kinds of ice cream, and if there's a couple people, you might get just the 4 between the 2 of them. And it works out great, yeah. And they can try a bunch of different ice cream for this. So, yeah, flights have become pretty popular.
Good. I like that here. Yeah.
Yeah. It was always my experience that if you went in and you wanted 2 different ice creams and you wanted a 2-scoop cone, you just got 1 scoop of each. But then you're always forced to eat the one on top first.
That's right.
So I kind of want
to
work my way from left to right, right to left.
Yeah, they're popular. They go over well.
Good.
They go over really well.
Good.
Yep.
You guys have got an incredible history here, and you're in a beautiful community.
It is. And it's a fun business. You know, we love coming to work. We love this business. And if we didn't, we wouldn't be here every night. But, I mean, when you come here, most of the time, you're going to see 1, 2, both of us or our daughter. Somebody's going to be here. We just really enjoy the business. And when we opened it, we thought it was going to be a nice little hobby. But this nice little hobby has expanded into, okay, this is a real deal.
And you're well embraced.
We are. Yeah, we are.
Right.
Absolutely. Yep. It's a great community and great business to have it in.
Nothing but luck and good fortune for you guys.
Appreciate it.
So
Very good.
yeah, come to Hamburg. You know, this got to be your dessert stop.
Absolutely.
You want to go across the Pateros and you can grab the wings. That's fine, but
That's right. Have a good bite of food down here, and then come on over and see us, and we'll top it off.
I want to thank Randy again for a great conversation about their place and their product, Main Street Ice Cream in Hamburg, New York. Definitely get down there for your dessert needs as the weather continues to warm up, especially as we get into the summer months. After the interview, I had the opportunity to talk a little bit with Denise as well, and then we enjoyed a dish of the Nutter Butter ice cream, which was a absolute home run. So with that, we hit the end of episode 6, And I want to thank everybody for downloading and listening to the podcast, which you can do so at any time on your favorite podcasting platform. You can make sure that you hit that follow or subscribe button and set us up so that you can get the automatic downloads. New episodes drop every Tuesday at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. And as always, we embrace those reasons for you to celebrate Buffalo, from our beloved Bills to everything our great city has to offer. Follow us anytime on Instagram or on Facebook. I love talking with each and every one of you, and always enjoy the conversations that we have back and forth, talking about ideas and places to go and things to do. And in the meantime, make sure you go out there with much peace and love, and to remember to always make your own path.